All right, welcome to episode 5 of Desire to Hustle, and where we tap into the minds of our guests on what desires them to get things done, what inspires them, what motivates them to achieve their goals and aspirations day in and day out. And today's guest is a really special one, man. Not only because this guy is really a great overall human being, but he's a follower of Christ and he's family to me. And so I'm really excited to have him on, and I couldn't wait to have him on. I think this is a really good episode for athletes to tune into and watch, and it's really going to be a really good one. So, Derek, what's up, fam? Excited to have you on today.
It's a pleasure being on with you guys, man. Thanks you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I couldn't wait, man. I was excited when I was able to get in touch with you. I know it's been a few years, so I was like, yeah, we definitely got to have him on.
Yeah, this is tremendous, and proud of you guys for taking the initiative to start up this podcast and put out this content that people need to hear.
For sure. So for Derek, for people who don't know who you are or where, kind of just tell them, like, your story, your journey, where you come from, the things that you're doing right now, and kind of just, give them a rundown.
Yeah. So for myself, born and raised in Greenville, North Carolina. And, from there, I went on and played college football at William and Mary, Division I AA football in Williamsburg, Virginia, and had a good stint there. Was able to, earn the respect of my teammates, served as team captain for 2 years straight, went on from William and Mary and was drafted in the 3rd round of the NFL draft of 2009. Went down and played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It took me as the 73rd pick in the draft, and had a good stint with the Jaguars. Ultimately ended up finishing my contract with them and then signing a second contract with the San Diego Chargers, and ended up playing for 3 more teams while I was in the NFL. Played for the Minnesota Vikings, the Baltimore Ravens, and the New England Patriots. And so during the course of that time, I said, something that I want to get into and have an effect and impact on players is player representation. I want to get on the sports agency side. And so when I retired from football in 2016, I began studying for grad school, and I got in to pursue after my master's in business at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, the Bruins. And so I just finished getting my degree from UCLA back in June of 2021. And right after I finished that, I transitioned into the league office of the NFL in New York. And I took on a role in a department titled Player Relations. So we handled everything from setting up current and former players with our engagements, our workshops, our programs, our events. Mm-hmm. And that leads us to today, where I'm a part of this fellowship with the NFL, and I'll be transitioning out soon, probably about 6 more weeks here with the NFL, and I'm moving towards taking the agent certification exam for the NFL Players Association this July. And at that point, after I pass that exam, it gives me the ability to represent players in the NFL and negotiate contracts for them. And so all in all, I'm moving in a direction to help the players. I want to see players excel on the football field, but additionally excel off the field and start setting up those passive streams of income off the field so that when they get done with the game, man, they're in position to become businessmen, mm-hmm. to sustain and support their families, their communities, and they're going to curb and cancel out the stigma that has been given to players when they retire and they struggle from things such as bankruptcy, financial distress, and divorce.
Right.
And a lot of that is tied to that battle and that struggle with transitioning from the game. So me as an agent, I work hard with my players to position them for the best part of their life, which is after football. And you've achieved and accomplished all that you've accomplished. And now you are in position to not only affect the lives of your own family, but your community as well, because you have been strategic about your days playing on the football field. So we want to get the most out of it. We're shooting for the stars as a player, but on the outside of the game, it's the same mentality. We're shooting for the stars and we're going to get the most out of it. So that brings us to today, Foster.
Yep, and I love it, man. And I know Lee can relate to this on a whole nother level.
Yeah,
just being
definitely.
prepared for life outside of football. Even now, starting his
Sure.
own business, and then we got the podcast. I know he's done a tremendous job, outstanding
Yeah.
job of just
Appreciate you.
setting that foundation.
Yeah, for sure. When Foster told me that we were going to have you on the podcast, Derek, I was super excited, just to find out, another FCS DB, to have on the podcast. I was excited, man. But I love how you just talked about, how you want to help out, athletes. I feel like that's a big topic nowadays. So just tell me, at what point did you, realize that you really want to help out, athletes such as yourself?
Yeah. So Malik, this would have been 2013
Okay.
where I had this realization. And I was in the midst of negotiating my contract with the San Diego Chargers.
Right.
And I had two offers on the table. It was between the New Orleans Saints and the San Diego Chargers. And I'm talking to the coaches, man, on the phone directly. And, in that process, I said, wow, I think this is something that I can do. I think that this is a career that I could pursue after being on the sports agency side. And during my career, I always wanted to be a player that transitioned seamlessly from football into the next thing. I wanted to be that poster child. I wanted to be that guy that had it all figured out. And so that's what I'm taking with me as I step outside of the game. That 2013 experience and then all my years in the NFL, it really helped me move towards what I'm passionate about now. And that is, partner with these athletes and be that mentor from the standpoint of, hey, I've been in the shoes that you are either pursuing after or that you're in. And there's some insight and intuition that I have about excelling on the football field. And there's some direction and advice I want to give and push that I want to add as you are stepping off the field while you're playing, though, so that ultimately we set you up for the ultimate success when you're done playing the game. So that brings you to my mindset as I played the game and as I processed it. And I'm only being what I wish I had. I want to be what I wish I had. I wish a former player could have came along that was knowledgeable about the game, but then also competent in negotiating contracts and doing business to help me see what I couldn't see and to make moves that I didn't know to make, so that ultimately, when I get done with the game, I'm in position for myself to achieve and sustain a level of success that a lot of times gets missed out on by professional athletes because our careers get mismanaged.
Man, that's powerful right there.
That was deep, man. That was deep.
It was, for sure.
Yeah, and just kind of on that topic of success, a lot of times you hear people talk about it, but I mean, everybody has their own definition of success. So for you, Derek, what is your measurement of success?
As you said, people have many different ways of defining success. And period, point blank for me, I think that there are 4 areas. I won't even say 4 areas. I'll say 5 areas. There are about 5 areas of success that we want to have that experience in. I would say physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and spiritually. You want to have success in all of these areas. And so I think the most important one of the key places you want to have success is spiritually. Where are you at spiritually? Because if that is in alignment, I think the rest of those things will take care of themselves. They will naturally flow and be in alignment. And so what is success spiritually? When I think about success spiritually, it is, am I in alignment with God? And when I say that, I know this isn't a spiritual podcast.
No, you're fine.
But we all have everybody has a philosophy that they are living off of, a creed that they are going by.
Yep.
And so for me, this is my philosophy that I'm going off of when I'm poured into what scriptures say, what's biblically written down, and I'm saying, okay, what is success spiritually? But man, there's an obedience that I'm following biblically, and that right there is a level of success that I want to have and sustain with the power that I have. Not putting it on anybody else, putting it on myself. With the power that I have, the knowledge that I know, what am I doing about ensuring, hey, I'm obedient to what God has called me to be obedient to? And I'm not making up my own rules. I'm not making up my own rules to the game of life and saying, oh, God's cool with that. You know, that was back in the day where that was an issue. But nah, today he's cool. He's cool with me doing, this. It's a new day and age, like it's evolved. Nah, the word is the same today as it was yesterday, as it will be.
As it was 10,000 years ago.
Exactly.
It's the same. So let's not add to the gospel. Let's keep it what it is. And spiritually, let's be successful by being obedient to what the word has called us to do. Yeah. And that's the main one. No need to address the other ones, but I think we can imagine.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I love how you broke it down, the 5 areas. And I feel like, for those of you who don't know, I'm out right now with an injury. So therefore, I haven't been participating in spring ball. But, I feel like the good thing about that is that has given me more time, to focus on other areas of my life. Recently, I've been doing a lot more, reading, meditating, listening to podcasts, just trying to better myself in a different aspect than, just on the football field or in the classroom. So I'm glad that you brought up, those other areas of success, because I feel as though people should, really just pay attention to those.
Absolutely. I think it's easy to kind of throw success into one thing, but you can ask anybody, man. And I had that experience. Sometimes you think financially, that's the most important thing, but you'll realize that, that doesn't bring you, finances don't necessarily bring you peace. Right. Having a large bank account doesn't necessarily give you peace at the end of the day when you lay down and rest. And so peace is something highly sought after. And it's not the absence of problems going away. But in the midst of those problems, can you be grounded and rooted and at bay based off of the foundation that you've laid and put your hope and trust in? Can you have peace? So things are going to come against us in life, no matter what, no matter who. And you got to be rooted and grounded in something that's going to keep you anchored when that storm hits.
All right, so Derek, just to kind of transition back to college, kind of just talk about like what was your experience like there. And I was actually reading earlier today, I saw that you got inducted into the William & Mary Athletic Hall of Fame. So definitely big ups, congrats on that one. So just kind of talk about like, what was it like at William & Mary and how it helped you transition to the NFL?
Absolutely. And William and Mary, it was a great experience for myself. William and Mary did so much for me. Obviously, they gave me a full scholarship to come there and play football, receive a great education, and made great friends while at William and Mary. I mean, some real upstanding guys, intelligent guys, and around intelligent coaches. Recently saw a couple of my coaches, just traveling, running into coaches, still keep in touch with coaches. So William and Mary was very good to me. I'll say that one of the things that impresses me, the most about William and Mary would be the people. And I think a lot of athletes, particularly because you're on teams, one of the things that they should do is leverage those resources right there in the locker room with you. There's a powerful network of players that are going to go out and do great things. And for me, I think that I was always good about forming relationships and maintaining relationships. And I believe that ultimately is why I was nominated by my teammates to be the team captain for 2 years. And there was just a love that I had for my teammates, for the program, wanting to see it do well, and knowing that if I demanded the most out of myself and the other captains, if I had them on page with me and we all demanded the most out of ourselves, then we could demand the most out of the other guys. And I wouldn't ask them to do anything that I wouldn't do. I'm not going to ask you to show up to every single workout over the summer unless I'm doing that. And so that's what I did at William & Mary, and challenge guys in that way. And ultimately, I think that when you walk away from college, yeah, you have this, you have a bunch of relationships with guys that you. What y'all last hear?
I don't know what we last heard, but it was you can just keep going.
Okay, so what I was sharing with you guys is when you're in school, that's a part of building your brand as well. And people think about brand and they think it's a quick fix or quick hit. No, a brand is cultivated over years. It's day in and day out. How are you showing up, and what is the message that you're showing up with, and what's the impression being left behind about you? And that's going to be from the work that you put in, how you treat people, the attitude you show up with, how you make people feel, your production. All of these things factor into your brand. And when I reflect back on William and Mary, I think I did a great job at leaving behind a brand that I can stand on and continue to build off of. You don't want those to be wasted years when you're in college, where it's, I need to find a new identity, or I need to make up for lost time, or I need to reinvent myself because who I was in college wasn't conducive or constructive to me becoming who I ultimately want to become. And you have to take advantage, full advantage of the time that you have, the face time that you have with those people in college. And that's what I did. I would say that that's something that I'm proud of, that I did while I was in college, and that was evidenced by my teammates nominating me to be team captain for 2 years. And even to this day, guys speaking to me and sharing, what they respect and what they respected about me during that time. So is it easy to do? Not at all. There's definitely a level of commitment and drive and passion that you need to have in order to step up and do that. But it's all worth it. It's all necessary. And it ultimately cultivates a brand about you. The brand of Foster, the brand of Malik, who people, when they hear that name, what are they thinking? Right. When they hear it, what do they think of? That's what you're cultivating, and that's day in and day out. And that's what I was doing at William & Mary.
Yeah, that's crazy, and definitely big congrats to all your success over your collegiate years. You know, that's something that's big time right there. But pretty much to build on this conversation that we've been having, how was your transition from William & Mary to the NFL, and like how were you feeling, you know, during that transition? Like, yeah, just speak to us about that.
Yeah, one of the things that people would probably say, because you're coming from a 1AA school, they're wondering, oh, can you keep up with the speed of the game because you're playing at a higher level? Well, look, it doesn't matter. Football is football, no matter where it's played at. Yep. And me transitioning into the NFL, I came in with that mindset. I wasn't starry-eyed. I wasn't mesmerized. I didn't even know who some of the guys were on the roster that I was going up against. It was just a body to me. It was just a body that I was going against. And if you were up there, okay, it's time for you to get it. So the transition wasn't terribly difficult because I think it was all a mental thing, and it's doable. You know, it's a level of confidence that you have in yourself, not in yourself in the sense of an arrogance, but for me it was, all right, and it's got to be, hey, I know I'm here because God wanted me to be here.
Right.
Therefore, I can be confident in myself and my ability, and I'm going to go out here full tilt and show people what I'm capable of doing. And so, yeah, I transitioned right in, man. Started all 16 games my rookie season. Started all 16 games. They play 18 now, but I started all 16 games, which was a full season, my rookie year, and led the team in interceptions. And I look back and say, yeah, I wasn't mesmerized. I saw it for what it was, and I was prepared to transition into the league. But it was a body of work that went behind that. It wasn't just sitting around rubbing a rabbit's foot, thinking that, okay, I'm going to be confident. There's a body of work that I put in training, in practice, and it showed out on game day. You just make it competitive, man. Continue to compete and make it hard on yourself. Make it hard on yourself during training and practice so that when you get to the game, it's easy.
1,000%. And just to build off that, talk about your rookie year a little bit. And actually, I read somewhere your first game, I believe, the 10th play, you picked off Peyton Manning. Like, walk me through that, because that's big. That's big time. Your first ever NFL game, you pick off Peyton Manning, one of the greatest of all time. So,
yeah, man, it was, as you're saying it, I was just at the NFL Combine because that was one of our events with the NFL. We were at the NFL Combine, and so that's held at the Indianapolis Colts facility, and so it's on their football field. And so, yeah, even walking around on the field and sharing that story with others, like, yeah, my first career interception, my first NFL game was right here in this stadium. And when I reflect on it, I recall days before, it must have been maybe that week of the game, I was told that, yeah, you're going to start this Sunday. So I didn't really have any time to be nervous.
Right.
I didn't have any time to be nervous. It was, you about to start. And we get into the game, man, and they're driving on us. They get all the way down to the end zone. And it's their first drive. They get all the way down to the end zone. And they tried to, I'm guarding Reggie Wayne. And they tried to throw a fade to him in the corner. And I just go right up and pick it off. And I was thinking when I picked it, I said, man, I didn't have a pick this easy in college. I don't know. I said, if it is this easy to get picks in the NFL, I'm about to eat. I'm about to eat good. And the reason I got the pick is because they hadn't seen me play before. So they didn't know what coverage I was in.
Yep. They didn't know your tendencies.
They didn't know my tendencies.
Exactly.
And so I was up there and they thought I was in man-to-man coverage, man, but I was actually in cover 2.
Yep.
And so I had my eyes on the quarterback the whole time, and he threw it. I mean, he threw it, and I'm thinking,
did he just throw this?
I'm
Did
thinking,
he just throw
really? You
this?
thought you were just about to throw this over my head? And I'm looking right at you. And so I just picked it off, man, and just like, I was like, man, it's about to be easy. The NFL is about to be easy. And had a fumble recovery that game as well, man. Recovered a fumble.
Oh, wow.
So I had good production. But what I realized was that, they didn't have film on me. So they really didn't understand, what coverage I was in. And after that, though, you could see that, teams, once they start to know you in the NFL, they do their good job of studying the tape and knowing your tendencies and picking things out. So that was one of the easiest picks that I had. I wouldn't say it was the easiest. I don't want to disrespect anybody, but it was one of the easier picks that I had. And I said, okay, this NFL thing is doable. So I'm glad I had that experience, especially off of Peyton Manning, and that was to begin my NFL career.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And just, I mean, on the topic of NFL, what would you say was the hardest guy you had to guard, or like some of the hardest guys you had to guard? I know Malik. I know you wanted to ask that one. I was curious too. I was like,
I was interested.
To be honest with you, I won't say. I'll tell you some of the like more physical games that one of the games that I came out of, and it was like a dog fight, because and I'm setting it up this way because a lot of times, man, in the NFL, the dogs aren't even the names that you know.
Yeah.
The dogs sometimes are guys that they just don't have a quarterback and offensive line that can get them enough time to get the ball to them.
Right.
But they can really play. They just aren't on a team where they're getting fed. And then some of these stars that you see, they happen to be on a team with a really good quarterback. And they're doing, obviously they're skilled, they're professional athletes, but man, there's some other guys out there that, from a route standpoint, speed standpoint, and quickness standpoint, they might actually have more ability. They just don't have the opportunity. But I had a few battles, man. I mean, I played all these guys, man. Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Brandon Marshall. And one of the battles that I enjoyed the most, though, was playing against the New England Patriots. They had a Brandon Lloyd on their team. And we had us a battle, man. We had us a battle. He was tricky. He was deceptive. It was physical. We went at it for 4 quarters, man. I came out of that game, needing the ice tub. I needed the ice tub after that game.
Looking for it.
Yeah, I needed it. So, I had some good battles, man. Andre Johnson, he was a tough competitor. Reggie Wayne, Pierre Garçon, he was always a tough
cold.
Man.
He was cold.
He was always physical. You always knew that, like, you had to watch out too, because he was trying to get a sneak shot on you. Who am I missing? Oh, Steve Smith. Steve Smith, he was somebody that was, just tenacious and tough. And so, did he
talk trash to you?
He did, man. He did. He did. I won't say what he said to me, but he was definitely, he was a relentless guy, man. Relentless.
Yeah, that's a great story. You named some greats in there too, and I was hoping we would get to that question because I really wanted to know. But just kind of building off of this, we talk about longevity, is the key in the NFL. And I read a statistic. I want to say it was between 3 to 4 years is the average lifespan of an NFL player in the NFL. So just talk to us about your longevity in the NFL. I want to say you played 7 seasons. Am I correct? Yeah, 7 seasons. That's way above average. So just tell us, how you got to that point and what led to you playing 7 seasons in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's stuff that you can be doing right now, both of you guys as athletes, to ensure that you have longevity, because it's a body of work.
Right.
Don't think that the days right now don't matter. You only have but so many snaps. You only have but so many hits that you're gonna take, so many cuts that you can make. And that is all attributed to how you take care of your body day in and day out. And if I could go back and do it all over again, yeah, there's a lot of things that I would do differently, even in college. You know, we can get caught up with distractions in college and nonsense, and it's aside from the vision. You know, the vision is, hey, I'm trying to max out my game and my skills. I'm trying to level up my performance so I can run faster, jump higher, cut quicker, explode farther. And so in order to do those type of things, there's a level of recovery that you have to instill. You know, LeBron James spends $1 million on his body every year. Imagine that. We all need to start looking around and thinking about, man, how much money am I spending on my body with my sport? And you can see he has longevity in the game. Tom Brady, another one with longevity. Did you guys see recently the thing with DK Metcalf about what he eats?
Oh yeah, the candy. Hey, Leak, we got one viewer that's a Seattle fan. I ain't gonna say his name, but yeah, that's definitely a bad look.
You see that? And you know, like genetically he's gifted, but to wake up in the morning and you eat nothing, and then you have a cup of coffee at noon, and then that'll hold you over till about whatever 4 o'clock, where then you proceed to eat 4 bags of candy, and then you have a meal at 8 p.m. that night and get back up and do it all over again. That's setting yourself up for, I can't, I don't think it's setting you up for longevity, but
you never know.
You never know. He might be that genetically gifted.
Yeah.
But I would say he's an exception, not the rule.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at, and for one, he's only what, 2 or 3 years into his career.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Yeah, and I hate to cut you off there. I think his dad played in the NFL as a offensive lineman. I think his mom was a track star too, I think.
Yeah. So genetically he's gifted. So
definitely
we can't use him as the example for you know, a kid in college thinking, oh man, you see DK Metcalf, you see what he eats, oh, I can eat like that. No, that's not gonna cut it. And that's not gonna get it done. So we don't go off of these exceptions. We need to go off of, all right, well, let me see the guys that are out here doing it for years and years in. Tom Brady, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. How are these dudes living? What were they doing? There was a body of work. Okay, they training and getting it in to increase their performance. But then they're also focused and dialed in on the nutrition. Yep. They're like, hey, I'm gonna be dialed in on this nutrition, what I eat, what I drink. I'm gonna be dialed in on recovery, how I sleep. And then also the soft tissue work, the stretching and the flexibility. Yep. These are all things that assist in an athlete having longevity. And you gotta be strong. Do not get it twisted and believe that, oh, it's time to be cute and take on some cute form of training, you know, some new age form of training once you get to the pros. Nah, man, that body has to be strong to step out there on the battlefield and demand out of your body some aggressive cuts, strong tackles, you know, forceful moves. Your body has to be prepared for that. Definitely. And it's got to be strong. So you have to be in the weight room. You have to be dialed in on the nutrition. You have to be dialed in on your rest. You have to be dialed in on your recovery, your stretching. Those are things that add and assist in your longevity. And that was stuff that I was serious about. But when I reflect on it and look back, I'm like, man, you know, they're just things that I didn't learn early enough that had I learned them, my career would have been longer than, I believe, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. And that's what we need to be dialed into and focused on, man. Maximize your performance and focus on the things that matter. Don't get caught up with the distractions and sidetracked on hanging out, being out late, chasing after whatever. It's nonsense. The game is only going to be here for so long. So you need to go after it 110%.
Yeah, 100%, man. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, and the nutrition, I think people don't realize how important nutrition is, man. It goes into allowing your body to recover, getting the right vitamins and minerals, and not drinking soda, strictly water. I mean, tea is fine, Gatorade's fine here and there, but definitely water, because water is what, 60-70% of your body.
Yeah. And you
too.
remind me, Foster, one of the other things that I did that I believe gave me great longevity, and any athletes that I'm working with and representing, this will be something that I do with them, is you get them a blood test done to diagnose what foods they have sensitivities to. Because for myself, I remember I used to have to pop ibuprofen, pain relievers, so that I could practice in college. And then I had to pop extra so I could play on game day because my knees were so stiff and I didn't know what was wrong. I'm like, man, it must just be because, maybe that's the way my body is. But no, it wasn't. I had that stiffness and I had that joint stiffness because of foods that I was eating, and it was creating inflammation in my joints. And so when I had the blood test done, it told me different foods that were creating inflammation in my body. As soon as I cut them out, I had baby knees. Knees felt brand new.
What was some of the foods that they say it was?
For me, things that came up on my list happened to be dairy. Dairy was big.
Yeah.
Wheat showed up. So like breads, cereals, pastas, those things that contain what they call gluten. We won't get into what gluten is, but I'm sure people probably are familiar hearing the term. And then a couple of other little minor things, man, that really created inflammation in my body. And as soon as I cut those things out, man, and removed them from my diet, man, like after a while, my knees didn't hurt anymore. And it didn't prevent me from, breaking down, decelerating aggressively. It was just, it was shocking because I had no clue that I could, and I was eating a healthy diet. It's not as if I was eating trash.
Right.
I wasn't eating trash. I didn't think that but man, you have to find out because we all have something that's probably toxic and doesn't agree with our body, but we're eating it because we don't know any different. But it's assisting in my longevity.
For sure, man. And just to speak on, nutrition, actually here at Holy Cross, we can't even practice if we're not hydrated. So every day before our practice, our strength coach, he'll be in our locker room and we have to take a hydration test. And if we fail, we can't practice. So, they take that seriously and they just want to, make sure we don't have any soft tissue injuries. So I feel like that's something, really good about this place is, we take that seriously. So.
Nah, that's very nice. I think that's important, man. Hydration.
Yeah. Hydration, yep, for sure.
Yeah. But also, man, there was supplements too that I got put on while I was playing as well. Supplements that assisted. I think that's a part of it. If you really have goals that you're trying to hit within sports, you have to be on supplements because you can't get all the nutrients that you need from the food that we eat nowadays. Right. Because a lot of the stuff is depleted of some of those essential minerals and vitamins that we need. And the only way you can get them is to take a supplement. So do not be a player that's, I'm all natural. Like, yeah, we all are all natural. Even if I'm taking a vitamin A supplement, I'm all natural.
Exactly.
I didn't go take human growth hormone. I didn't go take steroids. We're all natural. If I take a creatine supplement, I'm still all natural. Creatine is a natural compound found. It's a natural amino acid found in meat.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't give me don't give me the noise about, I'm all natural. If you have legit goals that you're trying to achieve within sports, you are going to have to be taking some form of supplement for multivitamins, minerals, protein, amino acids, something that's going to assist in your performance and recovery.
Yeah.
And just to piggyback off of that, I recently started taking some supplements, some ones that contain like some B12 minerals. Some B12 vitamins.
Yeah.
Ones that help with hair, skin, and nails. One that's for gut health. And some other ones, man. So I'm all for supplements. They're really helpful. I've seen the effects it has.
Absolutely, man. I support it 100%. I think if you're trying to do something, make some real waves and have some real goals within sports, it's a good avenue to help you achieve those things.
Definitely. And man, just to transition, here we are. You've played 7 seasons in the NFL, a very successful career. Most kids, just dream to play college football. And here you are, you've done, pretty much all of that. College football in the Hall of Fame, 7 years in the NFL, very successful. But afterwards, you still chose to go for your MBA. What like really drove you to do that? Because here you are, you've pretty much accomplished, everything, and then you want to go back for more. So I love that. And just tell me a little bit about that and your journey to get your MBA.
Yeah. So I went to get my MBA, man, because like I said, I wanted to get into business. And I'm transitioning, guys. I got to grab my charger.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem. We on the move.
So yeah, I went to get the MBA because I knew that I wanted to pursue after getting into player representation. And then on that side, I knew that, all right, I want to do business with these athletes. I want to partner with them and assist them in doing business, because I think that is the ultimate way that when guys get done with the game, they can transition seamlessly because they position themselves for that life after the game. And had a real cool experience while I was in grad school, where I worked at a sports agency called Paradigm Sports. And Paradigm Sports, they represent Conor McGregor. I'm not sure if you know that name.
Of course.
But a UFC fighter, and they did Proper 12 whiskey with him. So they just leveraged his name, image, and likeness. And that's all he was responsible for, was being the marketing, being the face of the brand. And then everything else, the sports agency, they found the distributor, they found the producer of the product. And from there, they created Proper 12 whiskey, which years later, Conor McGregor sold his shares for $600 million. And it goes to show the power that can be achieved by leveraging an athlete's name, image, and likeness that's been acquired by him performing in the arena. And so for me, that's what drove me towards getting the MBA, was knowing that, man, these athletes, they aren't legal cases. These dudes, they're a business. An athlete is a business. Yeah. And if an athlete is paired up with somebody that can help him conduct business and make strategic moves within business, it's going to have a lot of power in terms of curbing guys being financially distressed after they're done and are bankrupt or battling from relationship issues because they don't have the finances. And that was my drive for going after the NBA.
Yeah. And I know people, when they talk about NBA, the biggest positive out of it is your network. So how was your network furthered from being in that NBA program at UCLA? Because UCLA has probably a top 15, top 10 NBA program in the country, along with a lot of the Ivy League schools. So how did you advance your network while you were there? And like, what were some of the people you meet? I know there's a bunch of, high net worth individuals and people who are doing a lot of big, important things.
Totally.
Especially in the Los Angeles area too.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it takes me back to this, guys, what I shared with you about college. There's a brand being built about you.
Yeah.
Wherever you're at, wherever your feet are, there's a brand being built about you. And people are going to know you for a presence that you bring, how you interact and respond, how you are in the classroom, your growth and development. And those are things that, yeah, I try to take full advantage of. And additionally, not only are you making that impression on your colleagues that you go to class with, but you're also making that impression on the professors, the administrative staff. And there are people that are going to be there for years and years. So having a brand about yourself, being cultivated with them as well is significant. But ultimately, this is what I'll say is when it comes to networking, it's about being authentic and organic. You don't go in with the mindset of, man, I'm establishing this network. No, you just being a human being that's kind, polite, loving, fun to be around because you see everybody as valuable. And then you allow the name brand itself to elevate you. When I say UCLA MBA, that right there opens doors.
Yep.
And it puts me a part of a network of people that will say, oh, you went to UCLA, so did I. We should grab coffee. Let me see how I can help you because we went to the same school. It's no different from me being in the NFL. Those networks open up doors for you. So if you can attach yourself to these powerful brands, these powerful brand names, that alone will help open up your network and help open up doors.
Yeah.
Because of the name. So you always want to try to throw yourself into categories based off of your body of work. I didn't just walk into UCLA. Like there was a body of work put in so I could get in there. And the NFL probably, that name brand of me being a former NFL football player assisted in me getting into UCLA.
Right.
And UCLA, that's going to assist in me getting into other industries. It got me back into the NFL on the business side, though, this time. And I'll leverage this network the same way. So
exactly,
those name brands, they mean something. They hold a lot of value. You want to align and attach with powerful name brands.
You hit the nail right on the head, man. You hit the nail right on the head. I don't think people understand the importance of networking. Often, I actually reached out to one person a few months back, and he was surprised that I just reached out. He was just stunned. He was like, a lot of college kids don't reach out, and I'm just like, I mean, it's just another conversation, just kind of just gauging, people's experience and seeing how they can help you and guide you into a different direction that you may not know, or just in the direction that you're going to. So I think networking is important. I think it's undervalued, or people don't really put a big value on it. So I'm all for networking.
Yeah, no, you are. I like the way you guys do it too, man. I think you guys are doing an exceptional job networking.
Appreciate it. Well, Derek, we don't want to take too much of your time. So usually what we do before we log out of here is we like to ask our guests to give us a few tips. Just give us any advice, any wisdom that you want to give us before you get off of here. We call it, giving out gems. So if you want to give us a gem, go for it.
Giving out some gems.
Yeah.
I'm going to give out a gem, man. I was sharing this the other day, just randomly to somebody. I was standing in a restaurant waiting on my table, and I shared this with someone. In life, we like to have control. A lot of times we procrastinate on things in life because of the uncertainty surrounding it.
Right.
And because we look at uncertainty and we say, we're not in control. I can't really dictate and anticipate what is on the other side of this experience, or we procrastinate because of pain, and we can't control how painful something is. And so control is an element that we as humans, we enjoy having. However, a lot of times we will not hold on to our ability to be in control. Meaning, we will always find ways to find something to criticize, find something to complain about, find someone to condemn. And those three things I share: do not criticize, condemn, or complain. Because when you do that, we can complain about anything. We can find a complaint about anything.
Anything.
Just think about it. You could wake up and find a complaint if you want to.
Yeah.
With people, circumstances, situations. And when you do, understand that you're not in control. You're being controlled by all of those things around you. All of those circumstances and situations, you're being controlled by, because you're allowing yourself to find a criticism, to find a complaint. Whereas if you say, you know what, nobody owes me a thing, I'm not going to complain, and I'm not going to have any criticism. When you take that stance, you're no longer controlled by the outside forces and external forces that surround us. Because you've taken a stance that, okay, when the line is slow in the grocery store, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to have a criticism about this, because I'm not going to be controlled by, I'm not going to allow this to control my emotions. And allow it to say, oh man, I'm frustrated or I'm angry. Now you're out of control. You just got controlled by a line. You got controlled by a line. It just took over your emotions. Versus you being like, you know what? I'm cool. I'm good. I'm okay. I have no criticism. I have no complaint. So don't criticize, don't condemn, and don't complain. That would be what I would leave guys with if I'm talking to them in life, and trying to give them a gem so that they can start reclaiming control of their lives.
Nice. Yeah,
There it is. There it is. That's why I love having
one.
this podcast, man.
That was the one. That was the one. Well, Derek, we appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I really enjoyed today's conversation. And just for everybody out there watching, thank you so much for the continuous support, man. We look forward to doing this every week. This is a highlight of our week for sure. So we're definitely going to bring out more content. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Please, please, please. It helps the algorithm. And we appreciate you guys so much, man. Continue to stay blessed and stay up. And until next time.
Peace.